Welcome, welcome, everyone. So glad you could join us tonight. Tonight, our guest for 15 minutes, Chronicles with a Scribe, is Twanna Yvette Ray, CEO and founder of TR Enterprises. She's also founder of Change Ministries. And we are just so excited to have her with us tonight. Once I see her come on, I have to wait until it gives me a prompt. So while we're waiting for her, let me go over a couple of things. Okay, I see she's on. Let me see if I can extend the invite. The prompts are really slow here on Facebook. Let me see. There we go. Now it's letting me extend her invite. Welcome, Twanna. How are you this evening?
Wonderful. How are you?
Wonderful.
Yay!
So glad you could join us tonight on our 15 minutes with a scribe. So glad to have you here.
So excited. Let me turn my radio off. I'm out here jamming and whatnot.
Absolutely. Well, God is awakening the remnant, the elect of God, and preparing us for his next chapter in his playbook. He is equipping us with a discernment and tooling us with a knowledge and connections to release his seeds throughout the earth. A part of that is scribing is blooming everywhere in the body of Christ.
It is.
It is blooming. A lot of us are familiar with the scripture in Habakkuk that tells us, write the vision, make it plain. And because we know that Christ is the Word, he is the literal Word of God. And he that is in us is the power of God and it's the Spirit of God. So when we write out what he has asked us to write out, it gives life to his efforts. It gives life to his program. So tell us. There's a lot of different functions that people are using their prayer books for. The main function, of course, is to capture their prayers, their utterings to God. One of the most common things that we see people using their prayer books for is to capture their witness of the faithfulness of God. So can you tell us a little bit of how God has shown up for you in your life?
So when I was a kid, I totally hated church. I thought it was horrible. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so, it took a while. It took a long time. How kids love to go to church and they love to, the music and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want any part of any of it. I was just like, no. And growing up in the country, anything could happen. So I'm on my way to work. I'm 19 years old. I'm on my way to work. No husband, no kids, no nothing, thinking about going to college, freshly, out of high school, all this stuff. Okay. I'm on my way to work. I work at Crystals. And so I got to be to work early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention and I don't see anything. I pull out and all of a sudden I hear a loud crash. I'm like, what is that? In my head, all I see is my window open. So I crawl out and I don't remember anything else. So the next flashback is at the hospital. There's been a couple of hours that have passed between me crawling out of my car, my little Datsun, and at the hospital. So I'm like, how did I get at the hospital? What is happening? So my mom was like, you don't remember anything? I'm like, I remember crawling out of my car, but why was I crawling out of my car? She's like, you were hit and you were drugged down the highway for at least a mile. and we're trying to figure out how you got out of the car, because my whole side was kind of like when you ball up a piece of paper. And so they're trying to figure out, my door and everything was where I would be sitting. So where did I go to get away from that? How do I not have a scratch? So after that, I was like, that's unexplainable. Like, there has to be a God somewhere. There's no way that I could still be alive without divine intervention.
Right.
So before that, you know, tracking back, when I was about 16, I started like poetry and writing songs, and I just kept a diary of stuff, but I had like let it go. But after that, I got it back. Like everything came back. So I've always like, you know, written things down or written it out in poetry. And then maybe around 22, 23, after my daughter, I started painting. And it was very abstract art. And it was like everything that I couldn't put into words was now coming out on the canvas, because your praise and your worship and your scribing and all of this has to come out.
Yeah.
So it's going to birth in one way or the other. And so then fast forward through all of the trauma and the turmoil of my life, last year when we met, I'm going through a horrible divorce. And when you know it, the scribe over here started making planners, which is how we all, you know, came together. I don't know where that came from, but I needed an outlet. I had to get stuff out, and it had to be plain. It had to be a vision, and I had to have other people to see it, because I was coming out of a situation I never thought was going to happen and take place. And so that's kind of like my journey to where I am now. I'm 46 years old. I'm working on my second book, and everything that I thought I had lost in memory, I can look back in my journals, and, you know, stuff just starts coming back to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought I, you know, had lost that. I thought I never, you know, because you try to think of stuff all the time. You know, where did I put that pen? Where are my glasses? And they could be right there on your head, but you can't, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, as I write, my memory's coming back, and some things are like lost forever, and I'm okay with that. But the thing is that, like, I have these books, and I can go back and I can look at my life, and maybe in 5 years and 10 years or whatever, I've written my life story just because I write that stuff down every day. And you don't even have to journal every day. You may just say at a doctor's appointment, or today was a good day, or, you know, put a happy face sticker down or whatever to let you, you know, you think back and go, what happened on that day? You know, was my granddaughter born? Was I baptized again? Did I let go of some baggage? You know, anything could have happened.
Right.
And writing it down is kind of like, I'll never forget. And then you're leaving a legacy. My kids and my granddaughter, like little Honesty that you guys see running around, she's going to be able to pick those books up when I'm gone. And she's going to be like, this is my grandmother. And look, that's me and her in the book. You know what I mean? It's like, it's amazing. Like, it's absolutely amazing to me. So I'm in love with it.
So seeing how God has intervened in your life, He has stopped danger, He has stopped harm, and He has even stopped the perils of mental memory loss. He has stopped all kind of things. He has shown Himself to be faithful to you, not just in the tangible, but also in the things of health, and in the things of spirit, and in giftings and in talents. He has shown Himself faithful to you as He's poured Himself out through your scribing and your gifting and your painting and your creating. Well done. Well done, God. Well done.
Yay, Jesus.
Now, there are a lot of promises that we find in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28, the main epicenter for promises of God. What are the promises that in this season you're holding God accountable for, that you are released to discuss with us at this moment?
That I am released to discuss, that I can do anything through Christ because He is my strength.
Amen.
I stand on that. I have stood on that since my first bout with depression, my first bout. A lot of people don't know it by just looking at me, but I have an acute I don't know. It's like, you can't even call it a trauma, but I have migraine syndromes that are chronic. So it's an acute chronic migraine syndrome that I've had since birth. And it was triggered by a trauma in my life. And so people always tell me, or used to tell me, I'm talking about doctors, not like, the mother at the church, but like medically, you know what I'm saying? They're like, you're never going to learn properly, and you won't be able to, do things that normal kids will do. She won't be able to think. She'll be slow. You know what I mean? And stuff like that, because it affects everything. You could be dyslexic from this stuff. And then on top of that, I have a sickle cell trait that's active, which means I could get sick at any time. I have to take stuff constantly. I take about 22 pills a day.
Wow.
Just to function. I don't have an immune system like everybody else does. And it's not even full-blown sickle cell anemia. It's just an active trait. So because of that, I have gastroparesis, which is the paralyzation of my stomach. So I take medicine for that. And on top of that, the head. And on top of that, the blood. And I give myself a shot every day. So I deal with all of this. So I have to stand on the promises of God. I have to say, even though my arm looks like a pincushion, I can still do whatever I want because God said I could. He said that he's going to be my strength. And he said he was going to get me through this stuff. So I don't have a choice. I have to make it. I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time for this. That's like, that's that extra drama you just brush off. I don't have time for this. I have work to do. And so once you know who you are and you know where you're supposed to be at this moment and where you're supposed to be going, you know that you have a responsibility. So in order for you to get through it, you have to stand on the promises of God. Otherwise, you're letting God down.
Wow. Wow. Now that is a testimony. That is a testimony of overcoming. Now, some people use one of the booklets inside their prayer books to capture the prophetic word in their life, utterings that they hear and utterings that they receive. Is this a part of your scribing when you are scribing in your prayer book?
Multiple times a day, I would say. As a prophetess, I hear stuff all the time, and I'm a seer, so I see things all the time. So, I'm constantly scribbling or whatever. I have like this big giant bag over here, which you guys can't see. So I have my, I have a little pad, or I have something in my purse. I have an extra phone over here so I can, speak it if I can't write it. But whatever it is, I've learned that if I don't put it down, or if I don't speak it, if I don't put it somewhere, I might lose it forever. And I used to get that feeling of, I had a great message in my head, and then by the time I make it home, I can't think of it. Or I had these awesome lyrics that could have been a hit, but when I get home, I can't think of not one word. And so it's like, Twanna, you need to get on your job and write the stuff down. Why do you think it's in the Bible? You're supposed to be writing this stuff down when it comes to you. Nothing else is more important. And this is a part of putting God first. Like, that taught me a big lesson, that all of this stuff that, I was thinking, it wasn't just me thinking it. It was God giving me something to use. And if you're going to be an effective minister, if you're going to be an effective prophetess, if you're going to be an effective teacher, or anybody in the fivefold ministry, you have to put God first. So that scribing technique is, as Renee would say, all systems go. I have to have a pen, I have to have a pad or something, and I have to jot it down real quick. And then when I get home in my quiet time, I can literally, make it come to fruition. I can look at it and go, okay, this is what God means. And then I get my prayer book, and then I get my Bible and whatever else I need. And then I go to town. It's work time. Everything is shut off. I may not answer my phone. I'm not looking at emails because he has to be first. So if that means, okay, I got to wait till Honesty goes to sleep, and, I've got everything else, no cooking, that can wait or whatever. I'm a chunky girl. I'm not going to starve to death. It's fine. Get a glass of water and sit down and do what you're supposed to do. If I don't do that, I'm telling you, I have a horrible day, or I won't sleep. I'll get up in the middle of the night. It could be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It is that thing that it just won't leave you alone until you have to get it done. And not everybody is like that. But when you're as they say, pregnant with something, you're going to give birth to it one way or the other. So I have learned to stop being hard-headed and to go ahead and write this stuff down.
Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned being in the prophetic, that you see a lot, and a part of seeing a lot of times is while we are awake. But as we know that the Holy Spirit does not sleep. So in
No.
your sleep time, are you using any part of your prayer book to capture your dreams as God speaks to you prophetically in your dream life?
Well, I don't really dream that much. I think I may have dreamt like 5 times in my whole life. Everything that's like prophetic happens to me while I'm wide awake, which is scary. But I have to learn how to deal with it. So, I have to, get myself in position every day when I get up. And, if I remember a dream, I do write it down though. So when I get up and I'm doing my stretches or whatever, yeah, I will jot it down if I had a dream. Sometimes it's like a daydream, like a thought, a thought process or whatever. And I start thinking about something and then I'll catch myself and go, I need to jot that down real quick. I don't know what it means. So, I wish I had dreams all the time, but no, not so much.
Well, when it comes to the dream life, a lot of people that are very well versed in interpretation of dream, I do interpret, but a lot of people that are well versed in interpretation of dream, they make it very clear that if we have enough focus and time and clarity during our wake life, an individual can see and hear more than when they are awake than when they are asleep. So that's not uncommon that you would have a very active prophetic vision life and a lesser dream life. That's not uncommon. Right. You're active.
Yeah, that's good to know because I don't sleep.
You're a part of the insomniac circle.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about TR Enterprises. What was your mission? What was your motivation for birthing TR Enterprises? And then also tell us a lot about what stems from TR Enterprises, the different arms and legs of TR Enterprises.
Oh boy, the different arms and legs. So it's very basic and simple, even though it has a lot of little tidbits and nuggets in there. It's really simple. It's just about ministry and it's about business and it's about me helping you get to where you ought to be. It's just simple. I am a licensed and ordained minister. I'm a certified life coach and I like to talk a lot. So it just fits right in. And I'm a teacher in the fivefold ministry, so it just kind of all works together. When you come to which Renee made me get, she was like, you have to get a .com. So when you come to TwannaYvette.com, you're either going to go in one direction or the other. You're going to go to ministry or you're going to go to business. And that's pretty much it. And either way, I'm just teaching you, what do you need to know about your business? And what do you need to know about social media, how to market yourself online or ministry? If you're interested in internet ministry, what is it about ministry that you need to know? Are you a public speaker? Whatever it is, I probably have been there, done that, and I can help you. So when you go to my website, you see the ministry, the business, and the woman. And when it comes to the woman, you get what you see. This is me all day, every day. So
now your business side is very multifaceted, from custom planners to cosmetology lessons to business planning. There are so many facets to your business side. So
it is.
Tell us a little bit more about where you're pushing or your goals for your business side.
So when you click on the business side of my website, you will see that I started maybe 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago in the 90s in cosmetology. And so I know a lot about it. And so I didn't want to stand behind the chair anymore. So I kind of flipped that into image consulting. And so I can help with continuing education, which if you come from cosmetology, you know what continuing education is. It's just like cosmetology is not just about hair. It's makeup, it's style, it's fashion. I mean, there's so many things. You can be a professional colorist. You know, you can be a style editor. You can be a fashion blogger. I mean, cosmetology is like everything, like when it comes to, image. And so I don't know where I picked it up from. I don't know any more cosmetologists in my family. Like, I don't know where they came from, but I've been doing hair, a kitchen beautician, since I was about 13 to 14 years old. And so it just kind of stuck with me. When I started, I wanted to be a makeup artist, but I live in Alabama, so there's really no place for me to do it. So I had to go to the hair side. And as I was doing that, I discovered other talents that I could, grow communities and put, these little things together, like where people like get-togethers and stuff. And, people would be like, we want to do a hair show, but we don't know where to start. And for whatever reason, I would just kind of, put it in a book, a scribe again, and I need to have some of those little scrolls with me to just like, fold out. Like, here's your plan. And I just kind of knew how to put it together. Fast forward to backtrack to when I was a kid, the music side comes from my mommy, because she's been singing all my life, all her life probably. And before that, my grandmother sang. So when you see the psalmist side, I'm singing, and I also produce my own music. And I am a minister of music. And so I kind of have been traveling all over the United States of America since I was about 16 with a choir out of Florence, Alabama. And I've opened up for a lot of celebrities. So when it comes to music and producing and vocal coaching, I got a lot of pointers from like John P. Key and, oh my God, Kirk Franklin before he was like super famous. I've opened up for the Clark sisters. I've opened up for the Pace sisters. Like, there's just so many people, and they all just kind of float, throughout the city or whatever, during the Handy Fest or whatever. And so I'm a local. And so they will look for Fame Studios and different places like that and go, where's that girl? Or, her name was floating through the studio or whatever. And so throughout time, I've learned a lot from them that I can implement in my own life and teach other people. So it's one thing to know a whole bunch of stuff, but it's a whole nother thing when you take what you know and you give it to somebody else. So I'm not just sitting on it. I'm actually turning it into, something greater than me. So I kind of like that stuff. And then all the other stuff just kind of, in order for you to like work your own business, you have to do stuff. You have to know how to be clerical. You have to know how to put events together. You have to know how to book yourself. You have to know how to manage your business online, because social media, as we know, without it, you're going to fail in business nowadays. Like 2018 coming up, if you're not online, like I'm an Android user. I can't even buy an Android without Facebook already being in it. And I can't get it off my phone because it's built in. You know what I mean? So even if you don't want a book to use a pen with, you can write in your phone. There's no excuses. There's absolutely no excuses. So I implement that in my business every single day. You're going to have to write something down one way or the other.
Excellent, excellent. Renee, I see your beautiful hearts. Thank you so much. And we have maxed out our 15 minutes with our scribe. I want to say thank you so much for Twanna joining us on this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And join us again on November 16th, where we will have our next scribe, Renee Purdy of MissRisingStar.com. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And before we end, if you can extend some invites and share so that those, Miss Charlene, I see all those beautiful hearts. Thank you. If you can extend some invites before we leave and some shares so that all those loving friends that didn't get a chance to catch the broadcast can pick it up in their spare.
That's right.
Love you all, and we'll see you on the 16th.
We love you. Bye, guys.